Today is your lucky day, my website friend, because we're going to show you how to use color palettes with Gunnar Technologies framework here. And so basically, color palettes work just like they sound. They're a palette for your colors. And when you have a site created for you, when we create a site for a client, one of the first things our designers do is create a color palette. This sort of takes the guesswork out of what color should go where. So basically, the designer will hand a color palette to the developer when the developer builds the site, and the developer will then input the color palette into the framework. And that's not to say that the color palette can't change. And developers and designers will like the way this works because it's very easy to change color in one place and have it appear everywhere. So let's just dive right in here and get started. So here's our dashboard. Let's just say we want to come in here and we want to change our color palette. So in order to do that, we scroll down here to HBGS settings, and we're going to click that. And then, whoa, there's color palette. So that looks promising. We'll expand that. And so basically, by default, you're going to have 6 colors here. And there's really 8, but we'll stick with 6. You have primary. You have primary variation 1, primary variation 2, secondary variation 1, and secondary variation 2. Also shown here, not shown here, is white and black. Obviously, those are in the color palette as well. But we don't want to go too crazy with colors, so by default we stick to 3 primary and 1 primary with 2 variations and 1 secondary with 2 variations, or shades, or whatever you want to call it. And you notice right now it's all the same color. And so basically the developer is going to input the color palette in here based on this. And it's pretty cool. You can actually see right there, you can watch it update on the right hand side as you type in stuff. It'll actually update it for you. And then when you want to update it, you just click update color and boom, it's saved. So now the secondary color is red. Well, that doesn't really mean much because there's nothing assigned to the secondary color. In order to assign things to the color palette values, there's 2 ways to do it. The first way is to go into CSS style options and go color options. And you'll see right here you'll see some of our color palette in action. Like the A active color has been assigned to the secondary variation 2. The button color is white, which is not in our color palette, and you'll actually get this warning. It says pound FF has not been added to your color palette. Please add it now. And so this is how you can just change the colors by clicking here and just clicking it and changing it. So this means if we wanted to change, see there's our red color. So this means if we wanted to change what everything was that was the secondary variation, instead of going through and finding everywhere where it's second variation 2, we could change it in one place. So now let's take a look here and fix this little warning star F or pound FF has not been added to your color palette. So let's go in here and change that. We'll go back to our color palette and we're going to go add a color and we're going to name it white, or we'll name it primary var3, and we'll give it that value. We'll click add color and you'll see down there it came up right there. So now if we go back to our CSS style options and we look at color options, we'll see that boom, now we don't have that warning anymore. It's assigned to primary variation 3. And so basically these are just CSS selectors on the left here. So anything that matches this CSS selector in article H1 will get the color inherit, which means it'll inherit from its parent. Anything that's article H2 A link will have the secondary variation. Will have the second variation 2. And so basically this is how you control colors from a global level. On a global level, you see a lot of broad selectors in here. When we get into talking about widgets and styling styling widgets and styling sidebars, there is another way to actually put these color palettes directly into your CSS code. And we're going to take a look at that when we get there. But basically, if you know anything about CSS, all you have to do is, in your CSS, is just simply type the selector followed by ampersand colon and then primary, like that, and it'll actually, when you save it, it'll make it that color right there, and that's how it works.